Your Life in Sex Island, Chapter 4, Illustrious Immigration, page 100. Boeing's funny fence to stop Mexican and Central American immigration does not work, will not work, and maybe isn't intended to work. It is intended to make Boeing a lot of money for next to nothing. The Customs and Border Protection, CBP, is building regular fences too. Regular being any kind of kinky, kooky kind of design. They've tried everything. Nothing works, and nothing is going to work. All those clever designs have at least three things in common. They're all very expensive, none works, and they's ugly, ugly, ugly. A big purple nose wart on Marilyn Monroe. The ugly's important, as I say in a minute. Know how long it takes to dig under a fence with a stick? Maybe a half hour. Yeah, they can do things to prevent that. But every fence is vulnerable to one thing or another. Fence designers and builders ain't smart. Kids is. I snuck into everything when I was a kid. Things that experts designed to prevent sneak-ins. Movie theaters regularly. Circus every time it came to town. One time, when I was about 10, my brother and I snuck into this sideshow tent, not knowing what it was. If they meant to keep us out, that's reason enough. We had to go in. Bunch of drunks inside. Carnival bouncer tried to chase us out. Drunks wouldn't let him. Drunks made room up in the front bench. Pretty soon these old women, old to us, came out and took their clothes off. Well, that's passing strange, way past. Shaking their pendulous boobs in our faces, doing their dances, playing to us. A little traumatic for a pre-puberty kid. Neighbor, one of the mill owners, had this nice summer house overlooking the Fox River. They had it all locked up. They had a nice apple orchard, all fenced in. That was a nice house inside. Big walk-in fireplace, furniture all covered, funny, spooky with cloths. Big house. We didn't break in. I don't even remember how we got in. Lots of ways, can't block them all. But we went in to change clothes anytime we went swimming in that area. We never left a trace. Didn't break nor take nothing. No one would ever know that we had been guests. And that fenced-in apple orchard, they never used the apples. Let them rot on the ground. We used some. We had our own orchard, but stolen apples is a bunch sweeter than home apples. But you already knew that. Maybe you've had some of those sweet things away from home. We used to go through the fence, through, under, or over, I can't even remember now. Crawl along on our bellies like we was commandos, yellow jackets buzzing, eating the dropped and rotting fruit, fill our pockets, maybe a bag with apples, go down by the river, fire up and roast them. They was good. I don't remember how we got into those places, means that it was easy, not part of the adventure. One time, made a fire in a hollow tree. Could not get it out. Tried. Smoke at the end of 10-yard branches. Carpenter ants streaming, squirting out everywhere. All the trunk, bole, gone. Circle of branches around on the ground. Fire department came. We could have been in trouble if we were visible. Kids on their own river are not visible if they don't want to be visible. Sure, that fence they's building along the Rio Grande would confound those dumb Washington clucks, but it won't stop for a minute some smart Mexican kid, or even a dumb Mexican kid. They're not spoiled rich city kids. I should quit talking about this. It's so obvious. It just irks me that they's dumping my money on that nonsense. Here's another thing. I don't know the Rio Grande, but I know a lot of rivers. We used to canoe a lot when we lived in Ohio and Alabama. Made an aluminum canoe, canoed all over. Finally got stolen in Michigan City, Indiana. There's got to be a creek. Spoiled rich city kids call them creeks. Every half mile or so dumping into the Rio Grande. What you going to do about them? I've seen creeks fenced over to keep cows in or out, depending on your perspective. Ain't easy. Cows always getting out. Extend the fence down to the ground in a creek, makes a dam. A little rain break the whole damn fence down. Don't extend the fence down, even cows get out. What you going to do? Here's another thing. Any river I've seen, them mill owners build a great big house up on the bank. Now you're going to run a fence between their house and the river? Remember I said those fences were ugly? Purple nosewort? Already lawsuits fighting eminent domain are major costs for the little pieces of fence already done. I understand that's a pretty river, that Rio Grande. I used to do quite a bit of work down in the oil patch, the Permian Basin. Guys there would say, oh, you got to go down to the Big Bend National Park. But for me, it's not a lot of fun sightseeing without my wife. Even then, we was married 30 years or so. Kind of like not bringing your heart to Texas. So I didn't go. Shoulda. Now it's too late. Lots of pretty stuff along that river. Now it's too late.
Good thing we saw the Grand Canyon and all the Mississippi River.
Maybe them spoiled rich city kids in Washington would want to build a fence along them places too. National security, you know. Shame to spoil the Rio Grande, though. Maybe we should call it the Rio was Grande. Now it ain't so grande anymore. Makes me tear up.
Purchase the book now by clicking on the link in the description below.